Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial, we're going to be working through our Heartstrings mosaic coaster. So this pattern includes a baby blanket as well as the coaster. So the baby blanket has all of the hearts going along the bottom of the blanket and the top of the blanket, and then it's just worked with half double crochet stitches throughout. So for the tutorial, we're going to make these cute little coasters. So we'll work through the steps of learning the mosaic technique. We'll be doing the overlay mosaic technique for this pattern. So I will show you how to make one of our hearts and also work the border around the coaster. The yarn that I've used for this pattern is Mary Maxim Maximum Value yarn. It is a worsted weight yarn, and I show the blanket here in cottonwood and medium rose. So if you check the description box below the video, I'll have links to purchase the yarn. And for the baby blanket, you're going to need 2 balls or 850 yards of your color A, which is the cottonwood, and 1 ball or 250 yards for the pink, which is the medium rose color. Now, if you're making a coaster, you only need a small amount of yarn. So you're looking at, let's just take a look at this here. You're looking at about 15 yards of the cottonwood, which is A, and 25 yards of the pink, which is color B. The hooks that I'm using are a 4.5 millimeter and a 5 millimeter crochet hook. So these are the Blush Streamline metal crochet hooks from Furls Crochet, and I will have the link in the description box for those. Now, some things to note with these patterns is for the mosaic section of the blanket, I use the 5 millimeter crochet hook. So that is the larger hook. And when you move over to the half double crochet section, you're going to drop down to a smaller hook. Because this section of the pattern will work up tighter, you want to switch over to a smaller hook for this section of the blanket. Then I switch back and use the smaller hook when I'm working the border. Now, for the coaster, as you can see, just looking at this, I did use the smaller hook for the coaster so that the stitches were a little bit tighter. I wanted a little bit tighter feel for the coaster, so I did use the 4.5 millimeter, and I continue to just use that size for the border as well. But if you're making the blanket, it's important to note that you will start out with the 5 millimeter to work this mosaic section and then drop down to the 4.5. So let's take a look at our chart before we get started. We are going to be working the overlay mosaic crochet technique for this pattern. The X's on our chart refer to a mosaic double crochet, and the blank boxes, whether they're white or shaded, we will be working a single crochet through the back loop only. Our shaded color on the chart is going to be our pink yarn, and the white boxes will be our cottonwood color yarn. So you'll want to start with your larger hook, put a slip knot on your hook, and you'll be chaining out 108 for the blanket or 18 for our swatch. The swatch is perfect for a little coaster, so it's a good idea if you want to just get some practice to make the swatch up with me. So I'm going to go ahead and chain out 18. So now I've chained out 18. I'm going to single crochet through the back bumps, the back leg here of the chain. So you just turn the chain to the side and you can see the little bumps. So I'm going to work across in single crochet. So this first row here is all worked in single crochet. Starting at row 2, our boxes here will be single crochets through the back loop. So now once you've worked all the way across, you're going to actually cut the yarn at the end of the row. Each row for this pattern, we are going to be starting at our right and working across and cutting. And if you look at the color here, it's going to indicate whether you're working with your cream yarn or your pink, cream, pink, etc. So we're always starting on our right, working to the left, and we're cutting the yarn at the end of the row, joining back on, and I'm going to be weaving those tails. So let's grab the pink yarn now. We're going to join in. So I just like to put a slip knot on my hook. And you can chain, so put a slip knot on my hook, and then I'm going to come back to my row here, and I'm going to start out with a single crochet through both loops. So we're starting off with a single. This tail is a little short, but it still should be long enough to weave that tail in. And now each of the following stitches, I'm going to work through the back loop only. And I know it shows everything here in the white, not in the pink that we're working, but what will happen as we work the mosaic double crochets, they're going to cover up. So this row, you can see it's a pink row, worked all the way across in pink, but then when we come to this row, it's covering up, and I'll show you how to do that, but it will cover up that color of pink that we're working right now. So through the back loop only, I'm going to single crochet all the way across. There's no X's on this row. We decided to not do a double border for this pattern. So because it's only a small section here and a small section at the end of the blanket, we decided we're just going to weave these tails and go with the border that we wanted to for this pattern. There's not too many to weave. Now what you can do at the end of the row, just to make things a little bit more secure, I didn't do that there, and you can see it's kind of loose. If you chain one, it is going to give that a little bit more security here, and fasten it off and pull through. So the first two rows are complete. So for row 3, you can see we have a lot of mosaic double crochets. We are using our cream color, which is our color A. So we're putting a slip knot on the hook. We want a tail long enough for your weaving. And always at that first stitch, we're going to work a single crochet to get started. Now, our first stitch, as we can see, is an X. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mosaic double crochets. And to do a mosaic double crochet, we are working in the front loop of the row, 2 rows below. So we yarn over, we come down 2 rows below to that loop here that's available, and we work a double crochet through that loop. So we're going to do this across 7. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And then our next stitch does not have an X, so we'll be doing a single crochet through the back loop only of that stitch. Okay, so if I like to just look below, here's that loop that coordinates with that stitch. We're skipping over it, and then we're going to do another 7 mosaic double crochets. And now you can see how we've covered up the pink row by doing these mosaic doubles. And that will be the very bottom tip of the heart, where we see that little pink popping through. And then we'll be ending with a single crochet in the last stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and then cut this yarn. And then what we're going to do is come back with the pink yarn for row 4. And you can see working across this row, it's going to be single crochets through the back loop only. And then we have a mosaic double that we have this loop available to work that stitch. So as always, we start out with a single crochet into that first stitch, and then we're doing so I've worked 7, and now I do a mosaic double. And then I'm back to working 7 through the back loop. And we're going to finish with a single, chain 1, and cut the yarn. This is a really small little swatch that we're working up, but it would work out. If you want to make use of it after you've made your swatch, you could use this as a little coaster. And if you decided to do your swatch just to practice in cotton yarn, it would work even better as a little coaster. So always at the beginning, we're going to be slip knotting on the hook and then working a single crochet in the first stitch. And this time we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So going down into that first loop that's available, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the back loop. And the third one should be the center, which should be this stitch. 3, 4, 5. And I want to make sure I skip those 2 loops, that I'm working down into the right loop here, and then we work another 5 mosaic doubles. So now let's talk a little bit about the blanket. We're working through the technique, so you should be catching on to how the technique is working. When you're working across the blanket, we have 107 stitches we're working across for our baby size blanket. So these hearts are going to be all along that bottom border of the blanket. So what you'll do is you're going to work, so ignoring our stitch 1 and our last stitch, you have 15 stitches, and you're repeating your stitch 2 all the way through to your stitch 16. So as soon as you finish working across here, you just start back here again. Okay, so you work across. Let's say you're on this row. You start all the way back. You work doing your mosaic doubles to here, start back all over again and work through, and just keep going back at the beginning to the end until you're all the way across the blanket, and then you work your single crochet in the last stitch. So you just keep repeating. So if you want to make the blanket bigger, you want to do so in adding in these multiples of 15 stitches across. So you're having to account for a first stitch of the blanket, a last stitch of the blanket. The rest of the blanket has these increments of 15 stitches. Okay, so you get all of those hearts across the blanket. So I'm coming to the end, and I'm going to work a single crochet in the last stitch. Then I'll chain 1 and cut this again. Okay, so now we're working at row 6. I'm going to single crochet, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mosaic double crochets, and you should have the loops there. And this is what makes this pattern really quick and easy to do, is that you should be able to pick up really easily where you need to do your stitches as you go across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we finish with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochet in the back loop, ending with our single crochet. But as you work across the blanket, you just go back and repeat and keep repeating until you get all the way across. Okay, so this is 5, single crochet, chain 1, and cut. So now row 7, we're going to do 3 mosaic doubles. You can always see the loops, looking for the loops. We've got the first one right here. 1, 2, 3, and then I like to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 single crochet in the back loop. And then we're going to end with 3 mosaic doubles. Single crochet in the last, chain 1. Okay, so I've already started out with my single crochet. We've got 1, 2, 3, which are going to be these 3 right here. 1, 2, 3 single crochets in the back loop, and then we're going all the way across these 9 doing mosaic doubles. And after this row, you're going to really start to see our heart coming together. Followed by 3 single crochet in the back loop only, and to finish off a single crochet, chain 1. And row 9, we're going to have 2 mosaic doubles, and then we're going to have 11 single crochet in the back loop, and then 2. Row 10, 2 single crochet in the back loop only. Then we're going to do 5 single crochet in the back loop only, 5 and 2. So I'm going to work that across. Single crochet in the back loop, and then we're skipping one of these loops. Two single crochet in the back loop, and finishing with a single crochet and fasten that off. Okay, so 11, I've already done my single crochet. We're going to do 2 mosaic doubles, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mosaic double, another 5 and 2 across. And again, it's pretty easy to see as we work where we're doing these doubles because we have those loops. Then we're getting to the pink section. Need to do 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're dropping down, doing that mosaic double, and then we have another 5. Two mosaic doubles. Single, chain 1. And we're almost there. So we're on to row 12 next. Okay, so I've already done my single crochet. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 back loop, 3 mosaic doubles, 3 back loop, 3 so evenly split as we work across. So 1, 2, 3, And then we have 3 mosaic double crochet, 1, and then 3, and then 3 mosaic doubles, three, and a single crochet, chain 1. So now our next row, I see we have a little error here, so I'm going to get that fixed up. So these should be blank boxes because we cannot drop down there. That's okay. Okay, so I've just scratched that out. So let's go through this row, and then we're going to just be getting into the blanket stitch, which is just half double crochets. Okay, so we're beginning with that single crochet. And we have 3 mosaic doubles. And then our 3 that are worked in the back loop. Three mosaic doubles. Three in the back loop. And 3 mosaic doubles. So an even split across. Finish, chain 1, fasten that off. Now we're actually coming back here next with the same color, but we're going to start it back on this side. This time I am just going to pull through with a slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to work half double crochets across. You're going to switch over to the smaller hook at this point as well. Otherwise, you'll find that it's going to crochet up bigger than the rest because of the single crochets. So when you work a half double crochet row, it is going to be bigger than the single crochet rows. So you want to switch over to a smaller hook for that. We'll chain 1 and turn, and work half double crochets into every stitch across. So now you can see the bottom of the blanket all is worked in these, in the mosaic section. So you can take all of your tails, you can weave them all in before working on the border. You're going to now work your rows of half double crochet. So you're going to work a total of 89 rows for the baby blanket. And then you're going to come back and you're going to repeat rows 2 through 13 and then finish off with your row of single crochet to finish everything off. So you can follow along with your pattern for that, but here is your tutorial on how to get through your swatch. Now I'm going to pull this back because I'm going to finish it off as a little coaster and show you how to do the border next. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull this back. I'm actually going to finish it off with a row of single crochet. So if we were finishing the blanket, this goes up now to row 13. Now I worked through the back loops, but you can actually work through the full stitch and do single crochet into those stitches. And then we can finish this off. If we can now imagine this is at the top of the blanket, we're going to finish with a row of single crochet. So I'm going to pull this in here. Okay, so with the smaller hook now, we're going to crochet the border around. So you'll be working it around the blanket. I'm going to be doing it around this little coaster. So I just knotted and trimmed my tails just to make it quick for the video, but you can have all of your tails woven in. So you can join into really any stitch you want. And what we're going to do is slip stitch around the entire blanket. So with your smaller hook, you're going to slip stitch all the way over to the corner. At the corner, chain 2, and then 1 per row, which because we're alternating colors, it's really easy to see. Slip stitching 1 per row, and the slip stitch is going to give it a really nice clean edge. And then when you get to your next corner, you're going to chain 2, continue across each stitch, chain 2 at this corner, and you're going to do that all the way around. So I'll meet you back up at the join. So now once you've worked all the way around, I like to do the seamless join just so you can't even tell that we started here. So you can fasten off your yarn just like this. Then get a yarn needle, put your tail on your needle. Then what we're going to do is go under this stitch and then through the back loop only of this stitch, okay? And then that, you can't even see the join. You can take these tails now. You will want to weave them in. I'm going to go across the pink and then back in the opposite direction. And then what we're going to do is, now that we've got our nice clean edge around the blanket, we'll then work on the border. Okay, so now what we're going to do is join back in. So put a slip knot on your hook. I'm going to join into the back loop. Going to chain one and single crochet through the back loops. And once you get to the corner, in that corner, chain two. We're going to single crochet, chain two, single crochet, and continue around. So at all your corners, that's what you'll do in your chain two. And I find if you just fold the edge like this, it does help to get into those back loops as you work around. So now once we get all the way around, I'm going to slip stitch in our first single crochet to join. And if you're working again around the blanket, we're going to do another round worked the same way, but we'll work just a single crochet in each stitch. So you can do the back loop, but I just have it worked as a normal single crochet through both loops. So you can do another round at your corners, do your single, chain two single in those corners. And once we meet back around again, then we're going to do the picot edge. So let's chain one to start with that. Single crochet, chain three, and single crochet in this stitch. Then we're going to skip the next stitch and we'll do a single, chain three, single. So you just continue like that, and when you're at your corner, in your corner chain two, you're just going to do the same. So a single, chain three, single, skip the next stitch, and then just continue working around your entire blanket just like this. So once you've worked all the way around, you're going to slip stitch into your first single crochet to join, and then you can fasten off, weave in your tails. Okay, so I wove in all of my tails, and you can see this makes a cute little heart coaster if you just want to make up a little swatch like this, or it makes a really nice little baby blanket that you can gift. I do suggest washing and drying it. Just wash it in some mild baby soap and give it a dry, and that's really going to soften it up nicely. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell so that you stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.